Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name's Michael.
My name's Cleve.
Welcome to an exciting episode of Friendship
Supreme.
Well, the podcast that dares to ask, is it okay to be a bad guy? What makes a bad guy? Who's a bad guy? I am bad, and that is okay. I am not good, and that is not bad. Something like that.
I was gonna say, is that how it goes?
Not at all.
What's your name? Billy, what's your face? She's the bad guy.
Billy Badass? Billy Zane? Billy Zane's a bad guy.
The singer
Billie Eilish.
that has a song.
I'm a bad guy.
I can't remember the last name. I don't like how you do that. At the end of the Grinch, they're like, oh, his heart grew and he's all better. But also, like, still try to steal a whole holiday.
But he learned his
I'm
lesson.
like, yeah, but you also, like, were a terrorist, kind of, and you broke into a lot of houses. So I started thinking, like, what other children's movies have villains that you're like, I could get over what they've done?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
none of the ones I picked.
And I gave you a good amount of just a very broad stroke of give me villains,
Maybe one. No, two.
because I think, yes, you did learn your lesson. That's great. I'm gonna have to charge you for a city's worth of breaking and entering.
Three, maybe?
I think if you break into someone's house and steal something and then bring it back, it's still a crime.
Believe it or not, jail.
Yeah?
Thanks for singing with us at the end. You have the right to remain silent. And let me move forward from there.
Fair enough.
How many villains do you have?
I wrote down 13. What I ended up coming up
Okay.
with. 14, 15,
That's it.
15, 15.
I said 5 or 10.
You know what? You tell me what numbers you want out of 1 through 15, and I'll give them to you, and we'll talk about them if you'd like.
Number 9.
Number 9, we got... this one, I don't know that you'll know. Queen Norga. Do you remember a little gem called A Troll in Central Park?
I don't.
Gnorga. You
I'm
may
sure
remember
that's
this.
okay.
This may bring up some memories. I always thought that the voice actor of the troll was Robin Williams. It's in fact not. But little kid me loved this movie.
Yeah. Tell me about Norga.
Okay, so she's a troll, right? All
Okay.
of them are trolls. But there's only one troll that's a good troll, and he can grow things with his thumb.
That's the old lady from Raising Hope.
Queen Norga does not fuck with that shit. She's like, we're trolls. We're disgusting creatures that torture people. That's what we're about. And she has a killer song in that movie. It's probably been about 20 years, maybe more, since I've seen this movie. But for some reason, this movie sticks in my head a lot. And she was a real good villain. She banished him to a city. He ends up meeting these kids, and they help him figure out, like, he solves some problem for them, and they solve a problem for her or him, and it's just a whole thing.
So she was just kind of a bully.
She was real mean and didn't like that he was nice.
That seems forgivable. That's not really
It feels
crime.
forgivable, and she, again, killer song.
If you're good at music, we pretty much.
I'm willing to forgive you a
Never
little
mind.
bit.
Nope, not gonna get into it. All right, fair enough.
Although the Siamese cat, we're not going to allow that to ever happen again. I'll drown a cat.
I got one for you. I'm gonna bat one back at you.
Okay.
President Business from the Lego Movie. Pretty diabolical
It was
of a
pretty
villain.
diabolical. It was all a giant metaphor.
And I want to say that they forgave him at the end. I'm not
They did.
so yeah. I understand that the whole dad at the end and all that stuff. And we didn't need to go there, but you took a shot at me. Whatever.
No,
Um,
I just meant more like he theoretically he was acting on what he thought was best for everyone and learned his lesson that it wasn't what was best for everyone and that he should listen to people and let them be creative. He does end up
So-
being nice in the end.
right. I'm okay. So what you said sounds real Hitlerish.
Oh no, 100%. He was real shitty.
Okay, is
Bad
this
Dad Club hardcore on this one.
so? Is this something that like that guy can redeem himself, or is it like you might have stepped? Oh, I understand that the movie does.
Okay.
What I'm asking you is, if you're a little Lego fig in that world, are you like, man, fuck
There's-
that guy?
To me, there's two ways to this, right? Will Ferrell's character, like the father, I could see forgiving because he was doing what he thought was best for his kid. If we're just taking the Lego world into consideration as the sentient beings that they are, then absolutely not. We lock him up in jail and probably dissect him into little tiny pieces so he can never do something again.
Right to jail, right
Well,
away.
I think that we have, because we have what the dad did, and then we have what the Lego.
Right, because if
The
we're
Lego
taking into
version did.
consideration Lego, like people having actual genuine feelings and like being sentient, then he essentially, as you pointed out, was mega Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, do everything my way, or I'm gonna drown you in super glue.
So no, then
No.
he
Oh.
did also wipe off that cop's face. Yeah. No, can't forget that guy.
Shit.
Number 3.
Man, yeah, this is tough to forgive. Hexus from Ferngully.
Okay.
The toxic cloud. He did just
okay.
it was just a
let's look at what he
byproduct of
really did.
people.
Yeah.
He definitely did murder lots of forest. I guess they technically
Did he
stopped
murder
him before he
Forrest,
did.
though?
He technically got stopped before he did. He's a
Yeah.
symbol of
What man has done really?
what man did, but like he is the antagonist within the movie, so he is the bad guy.
Yeah. I almost feel like
It's
if
cool.
I was an abused pit bull,
You're
do
gonna
you
get put
blame
down.
the pit bull?
Yeah, you get
you're
put
gonna
down.
get put down. But
I will
do you
say,
blame the pit bull?
when describing Hexus on the little blurb I got about him, he is an evil entity of destruction whose ultimate goal is to destroy nature for his pleasure.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's really tough to forget that. Yeah, there's a lot of villains in here. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna pick the next number for you if you don't have one.
I do have one,
Okay.
but we can definitely go.
No,
with,
you're fine.
Okay. We're gonna go a little bit on a reverse on the other side of this. Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
He's kind of a villain.
Not kinda.
He,
He's a
yeah,
villain.
yeah, he's pretty rough
I
because he
know-
wasn't happy
and-
with what he had.
In fact, Oogie Boogie antagonist almost. Like anti-hero maybe, but you definitely hijacked a whole holiday. You grinched it real good.
Yeah,
You tried to hijack a whole holiday.
and only
that you could
because
do
you
it.
were numb inside and you wanted to feel something different. Yeah, there's a whole tirade. There's a podcast episode out there where Michael just lays into how much he hates this movie and how Jack is just a horrible person.
We need to review it for 2024.
Yeah, he's not great. he does learn his lesson, and everybody's like, "Oh, haha, you're so silly, Jack." I would equate it to like a child's curiosity and like taking somebody else's toy because he wanted to play with it and then gave the toy back. Because because he didn't actually like harm Santa Claus. He didn't harm anybody from
Right.
Christmas Town.
I mean, there was a kid that got a head as a gift, but yeah.
Fair.
Other
He did
than that,
traumatize some people.
Well, I guess he didn't pack it, right? So,
Right. Well, and in his mind, that wasn't traumatizing. That was good. Like he would give that to Lock, Shock, and Barrel, right? So he's just an infant. Like it's just naivety, and I think you let him go on that.
Okay. Okay. I can concur with that.
My number 2, Ted
Number
Malton.
2.
I believe Ted Malton. Maltin. Ted Malton. From one of Michael's favorite Christmas movies of all time, Jingle All the Way. Ted Malton is the next door neighbor who has got it bad for Miss Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It really does.
It to a disgusting degree.
R.I.P. Phil Hartman, because he's the only person that could play a character like that. And I'm like, I still like this
guy. Yeah, he's the main character, Howard Langston's next door neighbor, and like is a divorced dad, and just tries to undermine him the entire time. I don't know if he's actually a villain. When I was thinking of villains, he comes to mind.
Not Sinbad?
No. Sinbad was just trying to do what he had to do for his kid.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that we persecute Sinbad, but I'm just saying
you're right, he may have been the original antagonist of the movie. I have several of those where like, yeah, this is who was supposed to be that guy, but like, let's be honest, this guy was.
I mean, that's a Jack Skellington, so I get it. Yeah.
I don't forgive him for anything he did because it was all malicious. Every one of it was very specifically to get in her pants.
Okay, but so you try to sleep with your wife. Is that just not bad? Is that all he did? Did he do anything above and beyond that?
He was dismantling the household in general. It wasn't even just like, I'm trying to sleep with your wife. It was like, oh, look how terrible your husband is, and look at these terrible things he's doing. Like it wasn't just like, ooh, look how beautiful I am, you should sleep with me. It was like, let's destroy your family in every aspect we can.
Remember the big reveal when Arnold took that helmet off? He was like, "Oh my god,
my god!"
I couldn't tell the way you were speaking.
Never would have in a million years. Yeah, seen this giant soldier of a human being. It was.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if he knocked it the fuck off, I could forgive him.
But all the way to the end, he tried.
Yeah.
Like to the bitter end, that man was trying to get it in. Yeah. It's rough.
You kill it from his side, and he ends up with her, and it's a romance story.
Huh? Gaston.
Yep.
Had Gaston gotten his way, he'd be a hero, guys.
Yeah, I guess where you lose me is much like Gaston, the unwanted sexual advances is where
I think that this guy was doing the same thing. He was.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's where you lose me. I can defend you up until like they're like no thank you, and they're like press it up against you.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Because there was that awkward moment in Jingle All the Way too, where he very then at one point he's like really made it clear like, nah, this is what I'm about, and she's like, I'm good. He's like, but are you?
You right to jail.
All the other wives love my eggnog.
Okay, but what about your villain number 5?
Okay, villain number 5.
No. Villain number 12. We don't have anything in the last 5 of them.
Oh, villain number 12. This could be an interesting one. Hades from Hercules.
Mm.
Because he's just doing his job.
Can you villainize someone who's just
That's his role.
clocking in? Yeah. I don't know anything else.
His only job, but his job is not, his job is the ferryman, not ferryman, but the ruler of the dead, whose job's not really to kill his nephew. No, I understand.
Everyone's
as far as
killing
mythology
nephews over there.
As I understand mythology, we had another episode where Cleve brought an expert on Hercules in, who she was fucking brilliant about Hercules, and
Hercules.
I understand that this is probably not the most accurate as far as Hercules goes, but I'm just saying, like, he did try to murder another demigod, out of jealousy. That might have been an issue, but I kind of get it, because Zeus was a real dick to him.
He was picked on a lot. He was bullied.
There's a little brother syndrome going on for sure.
Can you believe that episode was in 2021?
Jeez, you know what? That is impressive.
They didn't bring her back on.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
But it is tough because it's his job, right? Like.
Yeah, it's not, but it's also not your job to like purposely hunt out one guy.
Yeah.
That's not really your job. Your job is not to hire a very sketchy woman to try to.
Who's under your servitude simply for the soul of her ex-lover.
Yep. Blackmail. Yeah. That's not part of the job, really.
Because he's technically not Lucifer, right? He's not Satan. Like, it's not like he's not supposed to trick you into stuff. He's very much the Lord of the Underworld.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, I'd forgive him. Unfortunately, I just like James Woods, so I'd probably let him go on it.
So nothing really had to do with those crimes. Good thing Michael's not a judge.
Yeah,
well,
thank God. You know what? I like the cut of your jib.
Such a white person.
I was one time. I was in a courthouse. Don't worry about why I was there. I was in a courthouse once, and a guy came up, and the judge was like, "I see that you got a ticket." And he's like, "Yeah, for not wearing my helmet." He goes, "Do you have a helmet now?" He goes, "Yeah, they told me to bring one." He goes, "Cool." He goes, "Put that on your head." He put it on his head. He goes, "Walk around this courthouse 4 times." He did it. He goes, "You've paid your time." Just let the guy go. It was like a $300 ticket in California. Get on him.
Well, you know why? Because there's real stuff.
This was the stupidest shit ever. Yeah. Why are you giving a ticket out for the shit?
Yeah, I mean, give the ticket. You got it now. I better not see you again. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, it is tough, man. I don't know. He's okay. You know what? No, we don't forgive him because he released the Titans.
He endangered.
He was.
Yeah, he you know what? Turned over the government, didn't
he? He did a lot. He was real close to a real genocide sitch.
Also, Jen.
Yeah, he stormed the Capitol.
Yeah, it's tough to forgive him.
He stormed the Capitol. Can't get over that. Oh man, it's a shame.
Nobody's getting out so far. I like to see what this prison cell looks like.
We let someone out.
Jack Skellington. We let him off the hook.
That was a close one too. That was a real thin. That's a real thin one. Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda, the first Kung Fu Panda.
He just wanted to be the #1 disciple.
I feel like in a certain time era, that's acceptable. But also, I don't know, man, because they had your ass in like one of those.
You must have done some real fucked up shit for you to be in that shit. Because I never really go over everything he did.
Yeah,
but he was. You're right. He was locked up pretty good.
Remind me, like, was he out there just destroying cities?
Yeah, I think he got pissed off because the turtle told him no, and so he then went out and started destroying things, and then locked him up. The turtle kung fu'd his ass and locked him up.
Turtle did kung fu his ass.
when the turtle was younger. It was like a Yoda situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at him because I went to just images, and there's on his knees, both arms chained, and I'm like, we don't do that to just anybody. Or maybe he was wrongfully.
I'd have to
imprisoned
see
like
a
that,
list
you
of
know?
his crimes because, again, I don't think they ever went into detail on it.
Yeah.
I think at one point in time they just talked about him like destroying shit, and I kind of get it.
You get a little bit of a flashback for him when he was little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
it's honestly, it's only a jump skipping away from Tigress being the exact same.
Yeah.
Because Tigress really wanted to be the chosen one too, and then didn't, and she kind of threw a fit.
Yeah, but she
Didn't murder people.
we didn't
town.
have to chain her up. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing that she gathered herself.
Maybe
You know
he just
what? I
needs some
think
anger issue, like
I
anger
think it's
management.
interesting. Not that we're not letting anybody get a pass, but the fact that movies find a way to give people a pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh well, they're sorry. So
Every time it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, we can be friends now. No big deal.
Yeah.
That's goodsies.
I put my hand out and you grab it. Now we're good. Number 14.
Ooh, 14. Okay. Oh man, this is another like deep grab. Did you ever see a movie called Little Nemo: Adventures in Slumberland?
No.
This is another like staple in my childhood. And it's a fever dream of a movie. The Nightmare King is the villain in this. It is
Okay,
a
bad start.
1989 Japanese American animated adventure. He's just the tyrannical authoritative ruler of dreaded Nightmare Land. I don't think there's forgiveness at all. Like, I'm sorry, this is kind of a boring one, but like he's literally just the ruler of all things that are nightmares.
Okay.
A job.
Sounds like a guy just doing the job. Also,
That's fair.
and I think it's not like, I know we keep getting into this and it's not on purpose, but it's not like Nazi soldiers, I'm just doing a job. It's like this is something that is a part of life. It has to be done.
Yeah. Nightmares have to exist.
Like Hades, people pass away. Someone
Nah.
has to be taking care of this.
Yeah. Nightmares have to exist.
Do they? I know I just want to set the precedence from where my head's at. Do they have to exist?
I think the absence of fear would inevitably result in far more death than the presence of fear. So I think nightmares keep us more alert and fearful, which then causes us to be more cautious, possibly. The fearless would not be like, if we were 100% fearless, it could possibly be detrimental to our kind. Would be me playing devil's advocate here.
Does he do anything besides give people nightmares?
Yeah.
Before I let him walk.
It's tough to remember everything he did in that movie because, again, this is childhood.
Sounds like a revisit for this year.
It's a trip, dog. Like I'm
looking at the cast, so I'm like,
anytime Japan's involved in this shit, right? Like it's gonna be wild. There was technically another villain in this movie that I did not include. And it was kind of like the fox in like Pinocchio, where he kind of just was just a bad influence rather than being a villain.
The fox in Pinocchio?
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of trafficked kids, huh?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and man, I don't remember enough to be able to tell you anything else he did.
He's a fucking human trafficker.
I'm gonna tell you now, looking at him, he's basically the devil. The Nightmare King.
Is he like black with like
big
Fang
ass
teeth,
horns and
yeah.
big old fangs. Reminds you of
Yeah.
Balrog from Fantasia. But I think you're right. Like he lives in Nightmare Land. Nemo does go through Nightmare Land. It's not like he comes and tries to get him.
Oh, you came into my house?
Right.
Mm.
I don't know. Guys, if you're listening out there, let us know down below if you've ever seen Nemo, because I might be one of the only people that's ever watched this movie. And let us know if you think he's a villain, because we need to know now. But I think we're going to let him go based on occupation.
Yeah. I'm just fucking clocking in. I'm clocking in. I wasn't even looking for you. You found me.
Yeah.
2 more.
Okay.
I'll let you pick from yours. My other one was John Smith, and I never forgive him. But
enough.
you continue.
Colonizing
that
we'll skip
motherfucker.
some of the ones that you
Second shit.
that would be harder to talk about because we don't know them as well.
Just
All right.
the 2 that you want to talk about.
Oh yeah, I got 2 for us. Okay, so do you want the questionable one or the one I think is just right away lock up?
Let's do right away first.
All right, Judge Doom.
Right to jail, right away.
That is the villain from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
That man is Adolf Hitler. He is going through and assassinating.
I don't know why I thought you said Judge Dredd at first. So I was like, also kind of see it.
Fair enough. Judge Doom, who walks around with a barrel of dip and dips cartoon characters into it, which then burns them as though they're being eaten by acid.
This is a level of torture on hand. Yeah.
And fun fact, he is a toon.
Spoilers.
When he does that scream as he's getting run over by the flattener, for life. I will never not see that.
That man nails that.
Christopher Lloyd did such a good job. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
I don't.
We don't even have to stay on it too long. We can go.
I don't
That's
know how not
that's a
to
no-brainer.
Okay, so the other one's a twofer.
The framing, we didn't even get into that part.
Yeah. He killed a man to frame Roger Rabbit for murder.
Try to kill all the toons, right? So mass genocide, I think is where I think mass genocide is an easy
corruption of government.
We didn't even forgive Jean Grey for the mass genocide. So I mean, he's not gonna get a pass for sure.
He corrupted the government from inside. He was really mean to Bob Hoskins, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So you remember when they had that really culturally inappropriate bullet that was like a Native American?
Yes.
Okay. Just make sure that was in there. This is a twofer, number 4. I originally wrote Spike Hammersmith from The Little Giants.
Okay.
But I wrote in there that technically I think Kevin O'Shea also is the villain. Kevin O'Shea would be the one played by Ed O'Neill. Spike Hammersmith, do not remember who he was played by. For those of you at home that are playing this game with us and have no idea what Michael's talking about, there was a movie called The Little Giant with the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. I can't remember his name right now. And Ed O'Neill.
Rick
Moranis, thank you. As brothers. And one of them runs a Pee Wee football team, and it's just the best football team in the world. And Rick Moranis wants his daughter to be able to play for him, and Ed O'Neill's like, girls only cheerlead. And so then he goes, well, fuck you, I'm going to start my own team, and starts his own team. Spike is a kid that just moved to their town, and Rick Moranis tries to convince him to come join their football team by using his last name, which is synonymous with good football. And then he later finds out not the case, leaves that team, goes and plays for Ed O'Neill's team.
I forgot that John Madden was in this.
He was in this. He's the one that helped come up with the annexation of Puerto Rico. Well, he told him that was a good play. I've watched this movie too many times. Spike is not a good person in general. Now, he was tricked, and he does just want to play football for the best team, but he's kind of a piece of shit. And he does just keep saying things like, Spike don't play with girls. So it's arguable that Kevin O'Shea is the bad guy because like he's an adult and he's the one that's like manipulating children.
Oh, who would have thought we'd have held that man responsible? Yeah, keep going.
But then also Spike is just a dick, right? He's like the epitome of high school bully.
He's a bully. Yeah.
So neither one of them have done terrible crimes, but they're also terrible people.
I mean, Ed's raising a psychopath, or like, grooming a crazy man.
He also is like grooming his daughter because his daughter's also is like a cheerleader. And like it's weird the way that whole thing like really forced that stereotype.
I don't think they go to jail. I think Ed gets fired.
Ed should get fired. Well, in fact, he does lose the rights to his team.
There we go. Since so long missing that, obviously because I mixed it with two other movies, I've combined them all into a Rick Moranis fucking marathon.
Yeah, it's tough because obviously, like I said, they're not the villain. Like this is necessarily like a real big villain movie.
Yeah, but does he go to juvie though?
Spike could go to juvie. Spike did drop kick a kid, the wheezing kid. He hurt him pretty bad.
Not the wheezing one.
Yeah,
who picked on the wheezing one?
I know, right? Yeah, you remember the kid that put super glue on his hands? He just looked like he had jacked off an elephant. It was terrible.
It's such a great line from a movie. That movie, I think, still holds up. I don't even watch it. I thought about I was just spending a month watching sports movies too. I know I keep having episodes where I talk about other episodes, but like there's some good sports movies that we just. Little Giants would be one of them.
Little Giants is so solid. But yeah, I agree. I don't think they go to jail, obviously, but they're not.
At least have a conversation. This is at least a conversation.
We gotta sit them down. I'm gonna speed run you. We don't actually have to have a conversation about them, but I'm just gonna let you know the other villains I had. Cat R. Wall from 50 Goes West.
Right to jail.
Kidnaps mice and tries to eat them all. Professor Screw Eyes from We Are Back.
Believe it or not,
I
jail.
don't know if you remember that movie. That's the doctor that has screws in his eyes because fucking crows ate one of his eyeballs out.
I do remember him.
I had the Monstars and Mr. Swackhammer as villains.
Jail.
Fun fact.
I think the Monstars get a pass.
Fun fact about this: did you know that the Monstars are actually referred to as the Nerdlucks? They're not the Monstars until they turn into bigger, like the big versions, but before they're the Nerdlucks.
I knew that they had a different name. Yeah.
Long John Silver specifically from Muppet Treasure Island.
Believe it or not,
which
jail.
is played
Right
by
away.
Tim Curry. Two villains on here, by the way, are played by Tim Curry. Good on you. Professor Radigan from The Great Mouse Detective basically plays Moriarty's character, sort of, in the Sherlock Holmes thing. Number 11 was Yzma, but I did put in parentheses, arguably Cusco.
Believe it or not, jail.
Yeah.
Cusco was terrible. I was only ever rooting for Pancho in that. I had two number 11, so apparently I had 16. The Grand Duke of Owls from Rock-a-Doodle-Doo. He did not like rock and roll music.
Believe it or not, jail. Right away.
Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
You right to
And
jail.
last, rounding it up, Madame Medusa from Rescuers.
Also
She had two
jail.
pet alligators. You know she's up to some fucked up shit.
She's fed.
That's
them
Florida
to
man
some-
right there.
Yeah.
That's
She's
some
fed
Florida
someone
man
of
shit.
those crocodiles.
That was just a little speed round for everybody that's listening. You let me know. Did they go to jail or do they get out? Because we forgive them for some reason. We didn't forgive a whole lot here, though. Are there some great villains? Yeah. Are there some great villains out there that we forgot? Please let us know down in the comments below. Pew, 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 pew. You guys can let us know what we missed or what you guys would like to talk about next. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. If you would like any more content, we have social media as ever. It's Friendship Supreme on everything. Literally everything. Friendship Supreme. I think Cleve created an OnlyFans account for us one time.
I did. I had an idea. I didn't stick with it.
We're here, baby. We're here. But hopefully, you guys had enjoyed this episode. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve. Remember when Spike was like, "No mercy," and she was like, "No ball."